know if you remember Skylanders, but I do, and my corny ass is still buying them in 2025. Literally the most appealing thing of this game franchise was going to the store, hunting for the newest figures, and not knowing which ones you were going to stumble upon or if you were going to find like a variant or some rare one. I've pretty much been looking for Skylanders since I was 6 years old when the first game came out. Well, last year there was a huge surge in Skylanders content, a bunch of people making YouTube videos for whatever reason. So that just sparked my interest once again and my addiction started again. And it couldn't have been better timing because soon after that addiction started, I went to a retro gaming store and they had a tiny ass bin of Skylanders. But from that tiny bin, I was able to leave with a handful that I never had before. And in that handful was a light core Pop Fizz. And if you're not well versed in the value of these figures, that's a pretty expensive figure. And when I asked the employee how much they were, he said $1.40 each. That's freaking crazy. So that just sparked my craze again, and I started going hunting for Skylanders once again. Then around the corner was Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I decided to go to this because I'd never been to an expo that was run by just strictly vendors and not companies and corporations. I usually go to like PAX West where it's all these big companies everywhere. I ended up stumbling upon a Skylanders gold mine. This convention had hella Skylanders, a bunch of vendors that just didn't know what to do with them. So they were either selling them for really cheap or they just had a ton that they didn't know what to do with. The first hint that I was going in the right direction was this store display cardboard for Skylanders Giants. I would have freaking copped that so fast. I just was too lazy to lug it around the whole convention because I just got there. I'm not gonna buy that first thing and then have to walk around with this big ass cardboard the whole time. So sadly, I passed on that. Then I saw some Wii and Wii U starter packs, so I definitely knew I was gonna eventually stumble upon some actual Skylander stuff. The first purchase I made was at this booth that had like amiibos and Wii U games and stuff. They had this Donkey Kong vehicle from Skylander Superchargers. Even though it wasn't the best price, I would rather buy it here and not have to wait for shipping through eBay. Then I walked around a little bit more, saw some more retro games, but what caught my eye was these Skylanders storage bags. So I knew this booth had to have had some Skylanders, and they did. They had a lot. It was also mixed in with like Disney Infinity, but they still had a lot. Sadly, the figures were like freaking $10, which is like pretty crazy to sell Skylanders individually for $10 each, but I'm stupid and I still bought like 5 of them. I don't know, I was just excited because I'd never seen figures in the wild like this in so long, so just to see it right there in front of me. Then not even 10 minutes later, I saw a big ass plastic bin underneath a table that was selling retro games, and it just said Skylanders in a big bold font. Damn, they had more than any other booth. And look at the sign, $2.50 or 5 for 10 freaking dollars. See, that's a freaking steal. I should have just went here. And I was so pissed because they had ones that I had just bought for $10 each in this $2.50 bin. I'm so stupid. So I grabbed a handful and left hella happy with a full backpack of Skylanders. Then this other booth had like retro Nintendo games. They had a small amount of like box figures and stuff, but they also had an Imaginators custom figure. If you don't know, during the run of Skylanders Imaginators, they had like it was the game where you could make your own Skylander basically. They had an app that you can import your created Skylanders into. And from that app, I think, you can upload it online, and for $50, you can get your own custom Skylander printed out and in this little glass case, and it was an actual playable figure on the portal. Of course, since it was so expensive and Skylanders Imaginators wasn't as popular as the other games, these are not that common to see in the wild, and nobody really even has these. But I don't know if this guy was lied to, or whoever sold it to him told him stuff, or if he was just in denial or bullcrapping us. I don't know. He was making it seem like Activision exclusively made this figure just for this kid, and they never did this before. He was selling it for $600. He was upselling it like it was some friggin' relic he owned or something. I don't know. All right, now towards the end of the expo, I was happy. My backpack was full of Skylanders. Then I saw this Dark Edition starter pack. It caught my eye, so I started taking a video of it. After I took a video, the person that was running the booth was like, oh, if you like Skylanders, this booth actually has its own game store across the street from the convention center. So if you go over there, we have a ton of Skylanders. So once the convention ended, I went across the street, and sure enough, they had a retro game store sitting there, and boom, To my left was the biggest section of Skylanders I'd seen in a store before. Of course, they have a ton of normal ones, but a lot of them were boxed variants under the glass that you never are gonna see in the wild. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know what to buy. I didn't know what to take pictures of. I think I was standing there for like 25 minutes. But here's all my pickups from that store. Just on my trip to Portland alone, I ended up spending a crap ton on Skylanders. But that's not where it ends. I need to spend more money. So this was the beginning of this year in January. I saw a Facebook marketplace of a Chrome Spyro. If you don't know the significance of Chrome Spyro, this is an exclusive variant that they gave out at E3 2012. And this was only to people that went and tried Skylanders or people of the industry. This is like one of my holy grails from my childhood that I've been wanting since forever. And it was just sitting on Facebook marketplace in my area. Like, what? This person had it listed for like $450, which is like a normal price that these go for on eBay. But since it was in my area, I was like, damn, I need to get this somehow. I saved the listing and didn't think anything of it. But not even a day later, they changed the price to $400. So I was like, oh shoot, nobody's buying this. Then not even an hour later, went down to $350. So I had to message them. I was like, would you take $200? I will consider it if I don't get any higher offers by the end of the month. Awesome, thank you, let me know. Not even a freaking day goes by. Hey, I've been thinking about your offer, and since I've had no one else interested and I really need the money, I can accept $200. When the hell does that ever happen? My luck, I don't know what the hell that was. That was crazy. So I went and picked it up that same night. It wasn't in the best condition, but honestly, for this price, I really don't mind. If you look at all the eBay sold listings, they go for way more than this. And when the hell am I ever gonna find it in my area? Shout out to the YouTuber, the Skylander dude too. He came out with these products called Sky Sleeves, which are basically protective cases for Skylander, Spyro's Adventure, Giants, and Swap Force. It perfectly fits the package. It has a little hanger so you can hang it on your wall and it won't get dusty or damaged. It makes it look less damaged when it's in this case. So shout out to him. Hella cool product. I think it's freaking crazy that I'm able to just own one of my childhood grails. Like, this is the grand opus Skylander figure that every collector wants, and I was able to just find it in my area on Facebook Marketplace. Like, that's never gonna happen again. That's crazy. And yeah, that's Skylander Hunting in 2025. I also got these two dudes on eBay for like 50 bucks each, the blue Bash and red drill sergeant. I wasn't able to look back and see when I got them, so I got them sometime last year or the year before, I don't know. But yeah, I also got these. I can't believe I spent this much on figures that are just gonna sit on my shelf or just sit in a bin somewhere. I don't know, I have an addiction. Comment down below your memories you have with Skylanders, and if you guys are still finding them in the wild to this day. Follow me on Twitch. I'm gonna be streaming every week on twitch.tv/BennySGB. Do all that, follow me, All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.